everyone. You are listening to the Wellness Inspired Podcast. I'm your host, Sherry Davidson. Welcome back. If you're new to the podcast, welcome. I'm glad you're here. And I am super excited about this episode with Soledad Tanner. But first, a few things. If you missed the episode with Shana Tatum on the glorious gut biome, please check it out. It was packed with a lot of great information. And I have received some really awesome feedback. So check it out. Let me know what you think. I'll put the link in the show notes so you can click and listen. And get ready for episode number 4, Running My Teacher, Race Report, Franklin Mountains, 27K. This will be my first monologue and an ongoing theme. We all know exercise and movement is a pillar of health, and research shows it is one of the best things you can do for your health. Move it or lose it, friends. Now, how you choose to move it is up to you, but you have to move. I've found my love of trail running, and it has been the greatest teacher. My goal with these short race reports is to share the life lessons I have learned during each race. I don't think running is for everyone, but I do hope you find an activity you enjoy, you really enjoy doing, an activity that is sustainable and gives back to you in a positive way. It is the only way you're going to stick with it. So let's see how this goes. And as always, feedback is welcome. Let's move on. Please join the Wellness Inspired community and get updates on new episodes and wellness inspiration in your inbox. You can go to the Wellness Inspired Podcast to sign up. I'll put the link in the show notes. If you like what you hear, please give me a rating and review wherever you listen to your podcast. It helps people find me. If you're in the Houston area or visiting, interested in acupuncture, herbal medicine, cupping, dry needling, or all of it, contact us. You can find out more on our website at element5om.com. That's element, the number 5, OM for orientalmedicine.com. I'll put the link in the show notes. All of this will be in the show notes. If you're interested in health and wellness coaching, we can connect in the clinic or on Zoom. So reach out and we'll get you on the schedule. And last, I'd like to share with you 2 events that I host. I host them once a month. One is a yin yoga class with Georgia, a friend of mine and a great yoga teacher. Yin yoga is a passive style of yoga that allows for deep connective tissue release. It's very meditative. It's amazing. I think that it's a great yoga class for anyone. So if you're interested, you can go to the element5om.com and click on events, and you will see a calendar, and you can just click on the link under that day. So that would be January the 29th, and it's usually at 10 a.m., all on Zoom. I also offer a mindful meditation class once a month. The next one will be on Saturday, January the 22nd at 10 a.m., and it is with me. I am a true believer in mindful meditation, and I think it is a practice that everyone should develop, whether it is an informal practice or a formal practice, and you can do a combination. But this is set up for beginners, so we do interval meditation, almost like when I don't know if you guys are familiar with Couch to 5K, but when you first start running, you usually will do intervals because most people can't run continuously for 2 to 3 miles. And so you do interval training. So you might run for 3 minutes and walk for 1. So that's what this meditation class is. It is for beginners, and it is set up as intervals. So we meditate for 7 minutes, and then we come out and we talk. I answer any questions, and then we go back in, and we do that 4 times. So the class is about an hour long, but it's very engaging. And it's great for beginners because you can ask a lot of questions and kind of just get a feel for it. And then you can start practicing by yourself. So again, you can sign up on the website, the element5om.com website. I'll put that link in the show notes. And I think that wraps it up. So let's jump in and talk about financial wellness with Soledad Tanner. Money, money, money. Yes, I said it and I want to talk about it. In the past, money has been said to be the root of all evil. And I don't believe money is the root of evil, but I do know it's the number 1 stressor globally. Financial stress dramatically affects our physical and mental health. It is the root of anxiety, depression, increased blood pressure, cardiovascular disease, insomnia, and tension, to name a few. However, no one is talking about it until now. We're going to take a walk on the wild side and talk about what was once taboo. In this episode, we're going a little deeper, adding another layer to the numbers. We're going to talk about financial wellness. This might be a new term for most people, so let's define it. What is financial wellness? Financial wellness is not just about how much money you have in the bank. Financial wellness goes deeper than the numbers. It is about exploring your relationship with money to uncover issues that are negatively impacting the relationship so we can make better financial decisions for the present and the future. It's how you use the money you have to do the things that make you happy and healthy. And this will be different for everyone. What makes me happy and how I choose to spend my money will be different than what makes you happy and how you choose to spend your money. But first, we have to know our relationship with money. Is it healthy or unhealthy? Many times we fall into the same pattern as our parents. So it's a good place to start to get an idea of your beliefs around money. So ask yourself, what did your parents say about money when you were growing up? Mine said, money doesn't grow on trees, sending the message that we had a lack of money. If we become aware of the struggles and negative beliefs we have around money, like lack of, we can change it to make better financial decisions. All we have to do is the work. It sounds easy, but it takes time. So don't expect an overnight success, but a slow crawl to success. I know, I've been there. And that's why this topic is very close to my heart. I have experienced anxiety and self-induced pressure around money, and it has affected my mental and physical health, especially in the past. I went through a divorce, moved back to Houston from Austin, and started my practice with no money. I started experiencing severe anxiety and panic attacks. I have always been a healthy person. This place I was in, mentally and physically, was very new to me and incredibly uncomfortable. I was face to face with the value of money and the role it played in my happiness, health, and future. So I asked myself, how do I get out of this place and never return? Lose the roadmap. I'm done with this adventure. I am happy to report I am fully recovered from the anxiety and panic attacks. I am still practicing the art of financial wellness. And you know what? I am really enjoying it. And I know that there are many people out there who will benefit from this conversation on financial wellness. Maybe your story doesn't look like mine, but money plays the same role in all of our lives. Money plays the role in our happiness and our health. My next guest, Soledad Tanner, is the perfect person to talk about this. She is my friend and a financial wellness expert. She is the founder and CEO of STC Consulting, a financial and business consulting firm that helps improve the profit and productivity of businesses. STC Consulting solutions are for corporations, CFO on demand, controller on demand, and financial speaking. For business owners and startup, financial management, financial coaching and training, and business consulting. She is also an outstanding international consultant award winner and global financial business consultant and speaker with 30 plus years of extensive international experience in finance and controlling, strategy and consulting, performance and metrics in the global logistics and banking industry. She received a bachelor's in business administration with an emphasis in management from a university in Ecuador, a master of international business at the University of St. Thomas, and a certificate of organizational leadership from Rice University. She is an incredible and smart woman, and I am proud to call her my friend. And I am so thankful for our friendship. We have known each other for about 2 years now, and she has been one of the most supportive people of my business, and she's been a supportive friend. So I'm also happy to say that I am a client, and I highly recommend her. So without further ado, let's start our conversation.
Hi, Shana.
Hi, Soledad. Thank you for coming. I appreciate your time, and I appreciate you being here.
I thank you for inviting me. This is really exciting. We talked about it a couple of months, maybe weeks ago.
We actually talked about it a long time ago. I think I actually mentioned this to you last year.
And I thought that would be wonderful. And then finally it became, today is the day. So I'm very excited to be here.
Thank you. Well, I have to say that this topic resonates with me very intensely. And I am going to assume that it resonates with a lot of people, the topic of money.
Yes. It's very, and especially this last year and a half, has become even more of a priority for many families and many individuals as we have gone through unique times. So I think this topic is very timely right now, and very excited to add a little bit of my own experience and my own knowledge for the community.
Yeah. I think so much has shifted over the past year. We're going on 2 years now. And
Hard to believe, right?
I know a lot has shifted for me. My finances pre-COVID was one story, one narrative, and now that we are, I'm not going to say post-COVID because we're still in the middle of the pandemic, but things have shifted again. So I'm assuming many families, many people are experiencing that. And so, yes, I think this is very timely and I think very much needed. And I also believe it is going to be even more so in the times to come, in the coming years. I don't think that we're out of it. And I think that it's going to be a huge focus, a movement around financial wellness.
Yeah, I agree with that because people talk about going back to pre-COVID times and characteristics, and I don't think there's such a thing as going back to pre-COVID. I think we are find ourselves into a new level, and we have to continue to adapt to our new level and take the opportunity to add additional pieces of knowledge. And if open to change, then improve some of the things that we were doing before, and really take the opportunity to learn. What can we do to reduce the stress about money? How can we live within our means? How do we prepare for another difficult crisis?
And that was my sidekick, Finn, joining in on the conversation. But go ahead.
But that's how we prepare for the unexpected, right? So, and we just bounce back and go back to where we were. So that's an example of how life goes, right?
Yes.
So I think we need to use this time to really learn additional key points that can improve our financial health and our wellness, reduce the stress, add knowledge, and really reconsider what are the key elements that we're using to live our life. I think a lot of people will feel better if just give it a try and start with some new pieces of knowledge.
Yeah, and I want to jump into that, but so let's back up for a second and just let people know a little bit about you, because I know you. We've been friends for how many years? When did I meet you? Has it been 2 years?
Two.
I think. Well, definitely 2, because I knew you before COVID.
Yes.
And we're 2 years. When did you move into the building?
I moved mid-January. Yeah, you're right. COVID, it was March. And I think I moved early January.
So you weren't even here a year before COVID hit.
No, I was probably 2 months.
Okay.
Which was obviously scary because it changed the way that clients, we did business. So that was part of the experience of adjusting to a COVID season.
Okay, so going on 3 years.
I've known you. Yeah, I'm very happy.
Yeah, no, you've been awesome. Good friend here, and so why don't you tell people about your business and what you do, and then we'll jump into the wellness piece of it.
Super. So my name is Soledad Tanner. I'm the founder and CEO of STC Consulting, which is a financial management consulting firm. And what we do is we help businesses improve the profit and productivity, and we add knowledge to and expertise to business owners. It's really important to add the financial element to managing a business. And I have seen throughout my career that many businesses that were subject matter experts did not have that element. And that can make the difference between success or lack of.
Well, they, as an entrepreneur, one of the first things that you learn if you talk to a business coach or anybody that's an entrepreneur, they say, if you don't know anything, at least know your numbers.
Yes. And there's a lot of power in the numbers and knowing your numbers and getting familiar with the numbers. That's why this topic that we're speaking today is so close to my heart, because it makes a difference. What we do in the business is we provide CFO on-demand services, controller on-demand, financial speaker, financial management services, business consulting, and coaching and training employees. And we do it for small businesses as well as for corporations.
Do you have, as far as like employees, so you maybe 1 employee to 500 employees, or what?
Right now we're working with companies between 20 and 100 employees. But when I have good friends that have smaller businesses, it's my pleasure to also support them. And I also have a special area of niche area for women. Historically, finance has been a topic that in many of our cultures have not been really introduced to girls until later in life. And some of my best clients, doctor clients, I've never had a finance class or a business class after studying for like 20 years, all kind of incredible things that they do. But it's critical, even as a lawyer or as a medical person.
I'm raising my hand over here.
That business is part of your business. And Houston has been an incredible place because the diversity of the community and the diversity of the industries and just the sheer economic power of this city is incredible. So I love being here, and as you can tell by my accent, I wasn't born here.
To tell everybody where you're from.
Yeah, so I was born and raised in Ecuador, South America. I'm the daughter of Ecuadorian Spaniard mother and a Swiss German French father, and moved to the U.S. In '96 to pursue my MBA. And
you did it at the University of St.
Thomas. Yes. So I was, after overcoming certain tests that I didn't know how to take, but you know how it goes. So I had to take a TOEFL test, which is an English proficiency test, and a GMAT test, which is a general management admission test in preparation to the university. And then I was so determined, and it was complex because it was the first time I studied in a different language.
Did you not speak English when you came here?
I spoke language perfectly. I had worked in English before, but studying in a foreign language goes into a deeper level of your brain. Yeah. So it takes, you can do it, right? But it takes like a double effort to repeat and repeat and repeat until you do it.
Because your English is really good.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Well, it took many years. Yeah. My first English class I was 8 years old. And then, it took many years. And the advantage is I had worked in Ecuador in English. I worked for American firms. So my English became better and better until I got to Texas and I got to learn some of the...
Do you say y'all?
Yeah. Well, I practiced like for a decade.
Say it, y'all.
I said y'all.
And fixing.
Yes, I'm fixing together. And I was puzzled by that.
Yeah.
I learned when the first time somebody said, "Did you want to hitch a ride with me?" I had no concept of that.
Well, you're like, what? Hitch a ride?
Or when people say, "It's going to rain cats and dogs," I was scared. So those are the cultural nuances that you learn when you move to another country. So,
yeah, and you do a lot for the Hispanic community as well, too. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. So in general, finance is a topic that you see more women now, but it's not common to find women in this industry. But less common is to find a Hispanic woman or an international woman doing that and talking about improving the wellness of our generation. So I find that it's critical that I become a voice to the community, and also critical that other young women see themselves in what the possibilities of maybe one day doing that. So the more we I give to the community, and I talk every opportunity that I have, and people say, if you give me a microphone, I will speak, right? And I feel that the knowledge is penetrating the community and in adding good quality of life to people.
Yeah, and I definitely would like to hear more about the cultural differences around money too, and age.
That's correct. So there's different approaches to money depending of what generation you belong to and what country. Not really only the country, but the environment that you were raised. And if in some countries they're more open about money, some countries are more of savers. For example, my father was the son of the world, so they were savers, and also Swiss people in general save a lot of money. And in the other aspect, if you come to the US, we tend to be negative savers, right? We spend more money on average that we have with us, and we spend the future income, which it's really detrimental when you have a crisis, because you have already spent what you haven't earned yet. And so in other countries like Latin America, for example, what I can say is generally in the past, this was a topic that we gave it to the male partner. It could be a father, a husband, a brother. So in general, maybe 20 to 30 years ago, it was the male of the family responsible for. And as women start getting educated and went to school and have their own jobs and their own money, then little by little, they start asking the questions and making decisions for investments and savings and developing a finance personality, right? So what do you prefer? In my case, I am a saver. So I love to save, and that gives me peace of mind. And that's part of the wellness, the financial wellness, whatever gives you peace of mind.
Yeah. The money does have value, and you have to do a little self-reflection and projection of where you want to be in the future, and use your money wisely to help you achieve those things.
Correct. And sometimes I hear, well, one day when I have X amount of money, I will do this and that. And I always tell people, if you make the minimum wage after you cover your basic expenses, which are your house, your clothing, your food, your shelter, etc., then those are always first in the pyramid of needs, right? But after you cover your basic expenses, the next layer is always your choice. And as you just said, money has value. So what is the value? So will this purchase give me peace of mind and happiness in the long run, or it's just a temporary burst? And I understand.
They call it therapy shopping, or is that retail therapy?
Which sometimes it's needed, but sometimes it gets out of control. And when I think of shopping, I think, well, why don't I save for something bigger later that will give me more, produce more in the long term? And everybody has their own choices. I, for example, save for trips, and I love to travel, and I think that's something that give me back 3 times when I'm thinking about it, when I'm traveling, and then when I come back and I share the stories with you or my friends, saying, okay, this is how much I learned, and this is what I experienced. So
we've talked about that before, because you and I are very alike in that way. I'd rather go on an amazing trip than spend that money on clothes. My space, my physical space, I like to spend money on, because I like to surround myself with things that I enjoy. But then the next would be traveling and having those experiences rather than actual tangible items that I may or may not use, right? But I think that really leads us into the financial wellness aspect, that your finances is not just numbers anymore.
Correct.
There is this movement where we have the black and white numbers, but there's this emotional element to it that we're starting to look at. And the numbers is the number one stress globally.
Yes.
Not in the United States. This is everywhere. Like, people stress about money and no one's talking about it. And so I love this because I feel like it is a awakening around, one, the mental health, right? And stress. And just as an acupuncturist and a health coach, stress is the number one cause of many conditions, of health conditions.
Correct.
So if everyone globally, if this is the number one stressor, if we can start to talk about these things and manage these things a little bit better, how will that impact our health?
Correct. So let's start with what financial wellness is. And I looked for some different meanings that I found around, and I'm going to read this to you. It's having the knowledge, the ability, and desire to make intelligent financial decisions, as well as having the capacity to live a happy life within one's means.
I like that.
So, within one's means.
Yeah.
So, it doesn't talk about you have to make it to this level or that level. It's having the knowledge, the ability. That's where we're talking. So, we generate experience and questions.
Open
and desire. You have to want to do it from your inner core. To make intelligent business decisions for you, because what is good for you may not be what it's good for me.
Personal.
As well as having the capacity to live a happy life within one's means. I absolutely love this definition because it's way more than just money. And I'm glad you mentioned, because we're doing this recording in September. And September is Suicide Prevention Month. And
I did not know that.
Yes. And I think, as you mentioned, money is the number one stressor globally. And I think the pandemic has neutralized that, or have generalized that for all. So let's talk about what is a healthy financial life. What that looks like. Why do I have to learn to manage my financial decisions? Why I need to be prepared to face a financial crisis. So the world is still changing. The way we work, and how we work, and the way the companies are hiring people, and how jobs are happening right now in other continents, and your income can be jeopardized. And now a lot of people are leaving corporate to start their own businesses. So I feel energetically all of these changes, and I love the concept to have freedom.
Yes.
And I love the concept to have freedom of choice.
Yes.
That I get to decide how I proceed, so I continue to enjoy my life with a lot or with less. But that cannot be the determine how wonderful my life is going to be. Because I have the knowledge and power to make the decisions and put me in a good spot.
So when you say knowledge, is that a professional knowledge, or is that a self-reflection, self-awareness type of knowledge? Because I feel like in order for you to make those, decisions, you have to know what's important to you.
Correct. I think it's a combination of both.
Yeah.
So as we grow older and experience new things, we say, for example, what do I prefer, to change my car every year, or do I take a trip? Or what do I prefer? What is better for me, to continue to save to increase my emergency fund, or to buy me a new sofa? Or what is so? Each one of us, there has to be some reflection about what is important to me.
Yeah.
And that is never, it's always a journey because you evolve as you grow. But if at least I need to know what is important to me now, and I start making a picture of how do I see myself living later, right? So some people also want to have, they desire to have a big house with 5 bedrooms and a big garden. And for somebody like me, that doesn't add anything to my life. And I prefer a different kind of housing for my future. So I think it goes hand by hand. First, I need to figure out, I need to sit down and think, what do I want? How do I want to live? What is important to me? What are my goals? And there's a kind of a mix between my personal and professional goals and my health goals. And at the same time, you go, what are my possibilities? And where do I want to be in 2, 3, 5 years?
So in health coaching, the first session, the first visit, I always ask them their vision of their optimal health. Like, what does that look like to you?
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
I can imagine that. So I get a picture of how, overall, holistically, how my health is going to look like.
Yeah. What does that look like? And it takes in every aspect of your life. And that's why I invited you here today for the financial wellness, because it is a huge piece of our well-being. And I think it is so important to address that, but also exercise and also diet and also your professional life and your spiritual life and all of that. Like, it is so important for us to have it all align and have one big vision that we can work towards.
And it doesn't come overnight. It's something that all of us have to work towards determining that. And because we are multi-layered.
Yes.
And that multi-layer continues to grow up and evolve. So and expand. Yeah. And then the priorities move depending on what season in your life are. But from the financial point of view, once kind of you have an idea where, even if it's a basic idea, let's be kind to ourselves and not wait until you have a whole book of what it is, right? Just if you write it down and put it. I am a fan of sticky notes. Just use your sticky notes, put it against the wall, look at it for a week, see if it feels right, then you continue, right? And then if it doesn't look right, you take another sticky note, you put it on top of that, and nothing happens, right? So
just trying it on.
Just try and switch it, and which will be first place and which is second place. That's the way I approach a lot of very scientific budgets for big companies. So we start putting the priorities, and then we move, and then you take a step back and you look at it and it feels right.
Yeah. So I am a client of Soledad's, and one of the first things you asked me to do was to dream big.
Yes.
Like, if you could do anything and money was not an object with your business and your personal life, what would you do?
Yes. And I like that question. I use that question for my clients. I use that question for my friends. I use it for me. What will I do if when there are no limits, we have wings and we can go as big as our heart goes, that gives me an idea of what is truly not only in your brain but also in your heart. And most of the time I get the question that is behind all the layers of experiences that we have lived among in our lives. So I try to remove those, kind of peeling the onion kind of thing, kind of remove I don't know, it costs too much money, I don't have it, maybe one day. And if you look to read the stories of most of the people that have achieved greatness, and I don't mean it only from the point of view of money, but also people that have dedicated to do amazing things for the universe, right? Yeah. They started in the dining room table like you and me.
Apple started in a garage.
And with a phone, and a laptop or a computer or a piece of paper. So
how do you, this emotional component to finances, how do you break the narrative around money?
Mm-hmm.
When I started talking to you, it was right before the pandemic, I think. Wasn't it right before the pandemic?
Yes.
And then the pandemic hit and everything changed for me. I just got scared.
Yeah.
I wouldn't spend anything.
Yes.
But I mean, obviously that was a pandemic and I've never been through one of those before, like all of us. But, I also have a narrative around it, a story around money that I, one, got from my parents, and two, just starting my business. And I had gone through a divorce. I was living in Austin. I had just started my practice. So I was at it alone. And that was the first time I experienced financial stress. Like, I came from a middle-class family, but we weren't hurting. We had our food. We had good food on the table. We had nice shelter. I, went to school and had not everything, but my parents tried to give me everything they did not have. But so for my first time to really experience and reflect on money was after my divorce and starting my practice by myself. And I was very disconnected with my money. And in fact, there were a lot of times that I wouldn't even look at my bank account.
Yes. Very common.
And I'm sure because every time I'd look at my bank account, I would stress, I would get sad and like, I'm not where I want to be. And there's this whole cascade of, thoughts. So I'm just wondering, and some of those things are still with me, even though I'm not in that same place. They're still there. Like that narrative is still there. And so I know the relationship with money is very important. So how do you, as a financial consultant, start breaking down or getting through that narrative and, healing that part of it?
So I always say that babies are not born with financial knowledge. That way we feel good about if we don't. And I always say that when if I'm sick, I look for an expert and I go to the doctor, because even though I can get copies of my blood work, when I read the 3 pages of elements, I really maybe can understand 5 of them, the basic ones, but I cannot see all of them combined. And so anyway, so that's number one, that this is not something that we should be born with, and just it's just like an art or like a science, that it's something that we learn more as we are determined to learn about the topic and really take control over these topics. So people historically have not talked about money because if you have too little, there's been shame and judgment around that.
The judgment. Yeah.
And if you have too much, you don't want anybody to know because people can take advantage of you. So historically, we have had that concept that there is this comfort with money talks because it comes from the possibility of being judged. So once we understand that at the age that we are, nobody who's going to come and judge us, right? We're in charge and in control of our own life, and I get to really understand that concept and say, okay, that's a fact, but I am not there. I want to control. I want to direct. I want to be the driver of my car. I want to be the captain of my ship. I know it sounds funny, but
True.
But I'm in charge. Yeah. So how do I decrease this feeling of butterflies in my stomach that I have when I face reality? So that concept of I don't want to hear or see or even talk, it really is based on fear. And it's okay to have fear, because fear is there to protect us from crazy things, right? If I am on the
Getting
edge of a
chased by a
mountain.
lion.
Yeah, I will. I will run.
That's appropriate fear.
Or I am at the edge of a mountain or a hill or a building, and maybe it's too high or too windy. I'm not going to get closer to the edge. That fear helps you protect you. So once we understand the fear is there to protect us, and it's a natural to survive. Now we grab that fear in our hand, and I said, okay, Mr. Fear or Miss Fear or whatever, right? I am the driver, and I'm going to take control over. And as always, baby steps, baby steps. Yeah. So maybe one day it could be, let's make a list of all the accounts that we have, and then stop. Then you come back the following week, and I said, okay, now I'm going to make a list of all the credit cards that I have, and the interest rate and the balance. And enough for today. We leave it there. So be kind to you too in this process, because this is not the place where you are going to be mean to yourself. If you have made some decisions in the past, you had some reasons. We're not going to take it from now to the future, right? And then the next step could be, okay, let's sit down and make a list of our income or our checks or potential revenue or how much historically we have sold and how much do you think we can sell. And little by little, pieces by pieces, almost we're going to make finance fun. Because now I
like that term, finance fun.
Because you're going to have an aha moment. Yeah. When you start going little by little, and it's like losing weight. Yeah. Right. It's so difficult to do that.
I think that's a good analogy too.
But if I said, okay, today we're going to study about calories. Yeah. And how do they work? And tomorrow we're going to learn how to read the labels of the food. So another step. And you add knowledge one on top of each other. And then little by little, you really are like...
It's empowering.
Yeah. You're illuminating the table. And it's empowered because now when I go to the grocery store and buy... some cookies, I got a flip to the back and I go, oh no, absolutely no, this is not right for me. And the same happens with finance.
Yeah, no, I really like that. And I've had my own experience of that as well. I feel like the more I know my numbers and the more I know what's coming in and going out, then I can make educated decisions on how to move forward, right? So I'm not there yet, but you're helping me get there.
I love that. And we have to also to give ourselves little pats in the back when we're doing, let's say we set up a plan to pay a credit card because I don't want, now I want to pay for all my meals cash. Yeah. And I'm going to be conscientious about how much money I'm spending on going out during the week, or I'm gonna switch from going out just to make it special on the weekend, and that way I'm gonna save $100 or whatever that is, right? Yeah. The same with food. Instead of eating out every day, I'm gonna start cooking at home. Yeah. Maybe I cook on Sunday and prep my meals. That's what I try to do, right? Yeah. And then at least I have food for 3 days, and then you can freeze it, and then you see, I lost a pound. Okay, I feel good. So I would say these two topics are battles that we have constantly, and baby steps, but in the right direction.
And I think that having that vision too is really important to know where you want to go, because if, like you and I, we both love to travel. And if I go to the store and I see, something for $100, maybe I see something for my space that's $100, I can say, do I want to buy that vase for $100, or do I want to go on my trip to the Faroe Islands, right?
Correct.
So it's like, but if I didn't have that vision, or if I didn't have that plan, then I might not make that decision, right? I might just go ahead and buy. And just, there's just no structure to it. It's just, you're just kind of all over the place.
Correct. And that's when your vision of the future, step number one, your pieces of knowledge, your nuggets of pearls of knowledge, one by one. And then now you're making better decisions. Yeah. And now you need to make an appointment with yourself and put it in your calendar. Yeah. And to say, let's say I do it the 15th of every month. the 15th of every month, I'm going to look at how much money I spent. I'm really going to look at this.
Mm-hmm.
What are these expenses saying about my priorities for my business and personally? And do I like the result? So then it comes the most important part.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm doing about it, right? If I discover that I'm spending too much money in meals, typical, and I thought I was spending around, I don't know, $200 a month, and suddenly it happens that I'm spending $600 a month, just to put a kind of extreme analogy. And then you go, oh my God, like I didn't know. And with these $600, I could have bought my airline ticket to go to X location that you are dreaming to go.
Right.
Or I will have been much better paying the credit card here and then the brain starts thinking. And you know what? This is it. Part that comes here is making an intelligent decision about how you're going to change the future. So then in this example, you could say next month, I'm only going to go out X times, every Sunday or Saturday or once a week or none at all. And with that, next month I pay my credit card. And when I pay my credit card, I'm going to treat myself to ABC, whatever that's good for you. Yeah. So you see progress slowly. It's not magical. It's not going to happen overnight unless you put all your brain and intention there.
I can attest to that because I'm still working. I am still working on it. And, and I have decided that it's going to be a lifelong practice, and I think that it feels really good to feel that empowerment, even if it is just knowledge at this point, like knowing where I want to go, what I want to do, where I want my business to go. And really planning for that is exciting, and it feels more possible.
And I really like the word that you use, practice.
Yeah.
Because how do you start making changes?
Yeah.
And if you have never, when people ask me, well, how do I talk to my boss about making more money? Or how do I ask my clients that I want to raise the price? And I think you're going to laugh about this, but you can practice in front of the mirror. You can practice and say, hey, Sherry, what happens if somebody invites you to, eat out 3 times a week and you want to say no, right? Say no. But if you're uncomfortable saying, but how are you going to be perceived? Just think about it, practice for the answer. And then when the moment comes that it's natural for you to say, you know what, Mary, I'm going to take a break from this. And if you have practiced that, then it comes out really easier, and you don't stumble in your own words. That way, when you finish that, you feel really, really proud because you have made a point well made. You had the time to think how to structure that answer.
Yeah. And I think that happens a lot, right? And that's the whole taboo part of it too, is not talking about it. But if you practice it, then.
And a lot of parents also with the kids, this idea of how we're going to talk about the kids, there's an age to talk about different aspects. But if you're not sure, you have never done it, and there's always a first time, just do a little practice with you and your mirror and see how it sounds. So if you want, you can record yourself.
I've done that a lot. In the very beginning, when I first started my practice, I missed out on a lot of stuff. Because I moved from Austin, I was starting fresh, and it takes a while to build a practice, So I was just basically living on ramen noodles for a while, so I missed dinner with a lot of friends. I missed some trips with a lot of friends. And I don't remember if I said I just couldn't go, or if I actually said I'm still building I don't remember what my dialogue or my narrative was back then, but it definitely was a period of my life where when I look back on and reflect, and I had a lot of time to reflect of what was really important to me, and so I'm actually really grateful for the experience, because I did learn a lot, and I know my values now. And I think one of the biggest sayings is they say money, I don't know, well, we don't hear it much anymore, but they always say money is the root of all evil, and it's not. Money is freedom, and it is how you use it. It's not so much how much you make, but it's how you use that money to add value to your life.
That's cool. I agree 100%.
And that's what I learned, And so in that, I learned that the things that are really, really important to me, and which is traveling.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't travel for 6 years. I went on one trip in 6 years, and it was, and the only reason why I didn't feel guilty is because it was a seminar, acupuncture seminar.
Oh.
And I went to Costa Rica to do it.
But look how smart that was. The priority was to build your practice, which that's what you were saying no to the other things. And while you were growing your practice, and remember, people say that it takes 10,000 hours to become an expert in a topic, and that's why it takes time, right? But you did something wonderful. You mix a trait that you enjoy with knowledge for your practice. So you killed two birds with one stone.
Yeah.
And also when we think about traveling, people think about, sophisticated and exotic trips to, I don't know, the Middle East or Asia. Sometimes you just need to get in your car and here around us and travel here in Texas or close to where you are. There are beautiful things that you can really relax and do it within a budget, or go into visit a friend or do things. So life is not what happens when you reach to a point that you have in your brain to $1 million or whatever. Life happens when you are working on that. So you better enjoy that and have the freedom and the knowledge to make decisions that are okay for you.
Yeah, I like that.
Without depending on anybody else. Now, if you want to go and look for an advice, that's great. But you are the one who makes the final decision. Yeah. Because you live with the success of that, and also you live with sometimes the decision could have been better in a different way, but it was you who made the decision.
Yeah.
And that is better. Also, sometimes it's not fair we put that responsibility into another person, a sister, a brother, a partner, because sometimes they don't know.
You mean the responsibility of
the decision.
Of the decision, okay.
And sometimes they do the best they can, but it's not enough. So everybody has to be chained into this decision, and you're responsible for your own health and your own financial health.
And I know we've already said this, but it's very empowering, and there is a confidence that comes along with that. That is, and I think you said it earlier, kind of radiating. There's something that comes with that, to be able to make those decisions. I mean, resources a long time ago, it was food, right? Resources. Now we talk a lot about money, and to have those resources and to, you've used the word be in control or be empowered is one of the biggest confidence building for me. It has been, and I'm sure it is for many people. Like, there's just a sense of well-being.
Mm-hmm. Correct. It's a sense of balance.
A sense of balance, and that you are okay and you can take care of yourself. But I also think that you have to decide what is okay, right? Because that's the part that's different for everybody.
Correct.
Yeah. Like for me, and we both talked about, we both live in small spaces. I live in a small space because I don't want to take care of a home. I don't want to spend my money on a new AC when I can spend, what are they usually, like $5,000? That's a nice trip, but yeah, so it's awesome.
Yeah. And also, as people said, that people we need to generate this continued talk about money. And historically, something that I remember reading, people with a lot of money talk a lot about money with their financial advisors, with their experts. And as we, middle class start, developing and progressing, then we need to talk about, you need to choose well, who are you going to talk about money, right? Yeah. Make sure there is a lot of confidentiality in what you said, and make sure the person knows about it's a subject matter expert on the topic.
Yes, I think that's a good point.
Yeah, because there's a lot of people that run into that say that they are financial advisors, and really there are some certifications here in Texas that you can take and learn about a specific product. But really, you need to do your homework to make sure that you're confident is a person who has your best interest in mind, not just selling a financial product to you.
That's a very good point.
And if you feel a little bit of anxiety, or if you feel that you want uncomfortable, and if you feel that you want a second opinion, go for a second opinion.
Yeah.
Treat these exact as you would treat a doctor.
Do you have any tips?
Yes. Well, like all of us, kind of a little bit of an interview, asking about the background. Say, okay, how long have you been doing this? Can I talk to one of your clients? Can I see, where can I see you now? We're in social media, right? So you can see if they have a website or they have, Facebook or LinkedIn account. Most of the people in the financial world are in LinkedIn because it's a professional network. Yeah. So what kind of degrees do they have, or are they just selling insurance and they're trying to how does it work, right? So it's important to see the certifications are valid, and sometimes it's worth it to pay more. For example, a CPA is somebody who has gone through education and testing, and they have to keep up their certification with additional education every year. So the difference, for example, getting your taxes done by a CPA with an expert on taxes versus your neighbor next door who just learned how to plug the numbers in a software. There's a big difference. So I just want to say, do your homework. Like everything in life, try to get people that really, really know. And if you feel a little bit uncomfortable, step away, think about it, and come back.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Because people are out there that are not what they say they are, or not, they don't have your best interest in mind, like you said.
And also I always tell people, when I get a question about an area that I don't know, I tell you I don't know, right? So and it takes a lot of confidence to say that. And for all of us, I'm sure the same for your practice. If you get something new, you say, you know what, let me check. I'm gonna check about that, and then come back to you. So I would say do the same with finance, but I want people to see finances as something fun and like a light. I want to think that's something that illuminates your path.
It really does.
That really, really, it's like you're in a dark room and suddenly there's a light, and you put the light and you see where the door is, and you see where the journey is taking you. And make an effort that helps you live a cohesive life and a happy life, and that you can give the world the best that you have, because that's what you're here for, right?
We should have started this interview with a self-awareness, mindfulness meditation, because I really believe that you have to know where you are and where you want to go. You have to be self-aware in order to make the best decisions, I think. When you add that layer of self-awareness on top of the black and white numbers, and then I just think it's so much richer and so much deeper.
I like that. Maybe next interview we do that.
We should. No, you definitely will have to come back, because I think this is a topic that I would love to keep talking about. I think it's important, and like I said, it intensely resonates with me, and I'm on a journey to, financial wellness. I mean, that. I always said I have a great life. I really do. I mean, it's not perfect, but I've got a great life. But my only stress has been my finances. And again, my life's not perfect. There's definitely ups and downs, but I feel like if I can get this piece honed in for myself, my wellness will just go to another level.
I love that. And with that, I want to give some practical tips.
Yes, please.
If a person finds themselves like still feeling a little bit stressed about it, and I don't want you to feel that way. So maybe grab a pen and a piece of paper, and there's a really practical baby steps that you can take. So number one, I will say just create a budget. You can call it whatever you want if you don't like the word budget. You can use the word in French or in Spanish so it doesn't give you an anxiety.
Financial wellness. Fun finances.
Fun. But how do you do that? And I will say, if it's personally, just take your checking account or take your credit card statement and classify your expenses by topic. For example, meals, gas, medical expenses, marketing, clothing, gift, entertainment, etc. And take at least 30 days. So one statement. It's better if you can put like 3 months because that you get an average. But let's say for the first step, just take that and then that way you will have a summary of all your expenses, and then you put your income, and then you go, oh my goodness, I'm spending. For example, if you are sick or going to treatment, maybe a good 20% of your income may be going through that. But if you are just spending because you haven't really sat down and thought, this is your opportunity. You haven't had the discipline to say and the determination to say, that's not adding anything to my life. It's just filling a space. So I don't want to continue doing that. And this is the beauty that you get now, the chance to say, take over the moment and say, I don't want to continue doing that. How many more, I don't want to buy shoes anymore. Just to say, I want to buy myself a home that are worth it more than the shoes. Or even if you're doing a business, I have a friend of mine that I'm very proud. I saw her on Saturday that she just bought a building.
Oh, wow.
A building for her business. And we were laughing and we were celebrating Saturday night. And I said, her name is Paula. And I said, Paula, I'm just so proud of you and all the invisible sacrifices that you probably made to be there. And we were laughing like the slogan right now will be, do not buy shoes, buy buildings, right? So if that's what you want, then every one of us have had to make invisible sacrifices in order to get where we want to be. The second one is that you have credit cards. So the second tip, here goes. If you have credit card debt, and we all, in a way, we have it, write it down, the balance, that you own each credit card, and the interest rate that you're paying, and the minimum balance that they're telling you, sorted by the highest to the lowest, and start paying your debt. So
do you think you should start paying the higher interest rates first?
If you have one credit card that you owe like very little, like $200, $300, pay that and get over and close that. That will give you a little
confidence.
Boost of confidence. And we can take that. We need those, right?
Yeah.
And then you go, if you have a credit card that you're paying $19.95 and another you're paying $95%, you start paying the most expensive one, because then you are really saving money. You're using part of the savings that you will no longer pay, and you will pay faster the other one. So I start with the highest interest rate first and see if you can find any 0% interest for 12 months around. Switch it, move it, don't spend more money, but pay your credit card debt.
I mean, the interest rates are out of control right now. I've been seeing some come through for 29.99%, 24.99%. It's crazy.
Because there's predatory lending. And when there are crises, there's always, opportunities to make more money. And money is a commodity. It's like a cookie. It's like like a table. There's supply and demand. And if there's need of money, the interest rates will go up. If there's no need of money, it will go down. But when you need it, it's when everybody else needs it. So
there's so many times that I'll look at a dollar bill and I'm like, it's just a piece of paper. But the value that we put behind that piece of paper And the story that we have around that piece of paper is incredible, but it's just a piece of paper.
Correct. But allows you to get on a flight if a family member is sick and you want to be next to them. That's where the money is. The value is that piece of paper separates me from being next to my loved one.
Yeah.
You know, that piece of paper separates me from being at my sister or brother's wedding and enjoy the beautiful day. Yeah. Those are important things. Yeah. And the third tip I want to give, kind of basic, is build an emergency fund. Mm-hmm. Because now we are going through COVID, and we will have in life multiple circumstances. There could be the loss of a partner, the loss of a father, a son. It can be health crisis. It can be what we have gone through, Harvey and Katrina. It can be floods, hurricanes, storms, earthquakes, pandemics, wildfires, etc., etc. Yeah. Also, the loss of your job, maybe illness in the family. So. When times are good, it's smooth sailing, right? And that is your opportunity to build an emergency fund. Even if you make, after you cover your basic expenses, even if you are at the beginning of your career and you say, well, I don't make much money. It's not the amount of money that you make. It's two things. Number one is how you spend that money. Again, after covering shelter and food and clothes. Basic clothes, but also your habits. So I remember I started saving 1% of my salary when I was at the beginning of my career. And what I did is I set up an automatic withdrawal of the 1% to a saving account. And my first withdrawal, I didn't know if to laugh or cry. It was so little. But you did it. But I did with 1%. And every time I would get a raise, I will increase 1 point. So I went from 1% to 2% and then to 3%. So almost when you get a raise and if you put that extra there, you almost don't feel it. Nothing happens. You're like same than before, but you feel good because you got a raise. And then during my professional career, every time I will get a bonus or I will spend 10% of it in something that I needed. Let's say a new sofa or repairs on new tires or for the car. And I will put the rest in the emergency fund. So if you start with 1 month of emergency fund, you will be better than no emergency fund. Yeah. And then 2 and 3 and 4 and 6. So what is the ideal? People ask me all the time. How many months? Yeah. What is the ideal? I said, well, number one, what makes you feel comfortable? Mm-hmm. So if I lose my job or I have no clients for a month, will I be able to sleep and I will not be worried? Because here the real reward is living a stress-free life, right? Mm-hmm. Right. But also you have to consider your field of expertise and how long will it take you to find a job that replaces the one you have. So let's say, I don't know, if you are, if you a bookkeeper, I think that probably will take maybe 3 to 4 months to find another job, maybe. Mm-hmm. But if you are the president of a university, that may take you a year to be selected, or a professor, or a doctor. So, if you think finding another job similar to yours and the selection process is long, then you need to be closer to the 6 or 9 months. Got it. Right?
That makes sense.
So it's just in reference to your income, but also if you have 6 kids. You have your monthly budget. It's
a lot of kids.
It's just to give it different than if you have one kid, one child, right? Yeah. So anyway, those are the 3 very simple tips that I would suggest that everybody can do, and they can start right now. That you don't need any investment, but will give you peace of mind.
Yeah. And some confidence.
And knowledge. And once you're swimming into your numbers where you see your budget, I can tell you the aha moment is going to come.
Well, and all those points that you just told us you have to know your numbers to be able to do them, right? You're saying, I'll take 1% of this. I'll take 2% of this. I put the rest of it in, like, if you don't know your numbers,
correct.
You can't do the math.
If I make $1,000 a month and my budget is $999, maybe, how can I put this 1% here or something, right? So you have to know how it's trying to get you from different angles, right? To know your expenses, your income, and to know what is your residual amount of money and start putting it. So I want to create the habit. And if I tell you put 10% of your salary, you're going to be like, whoa, that's too much. But if you start with 1%, and then it's easier. It's all about making it easier, but start. Yeah. Well,
I have a personal story with that as well. Like when I first started out, I would just read about finances and how to build, and a lot of the times I read that put aside as much, even if it's $5 or $10, whatever it is, but I never did it because and this is the narrative, I don't have enough. I don't have enough. So that's where somebody like you is great, because you can come in and say, you do.
Yes.
Let's sit down and let's look at the numbers and let me show you. That's the black and white numbers part of it.
Correct.
But the emotional component is, no, you do. Let me show you.
And let me show you how you can do it.
And let me show you how you can do it.
And let me show you that you are not going to even feel it.
Yeah.
And you leave here, you're going to feel in peace.
Yeah.
And yes, I can do this.
Yeah.
And then in the future, I'm empowered because nothing is going to happen to me. I will be okay.
And I can't imagine where I would be right now if I would have done that. Right? At that, reflecting back on it, I'm like, I could have done that. I see now I could have done that, but I didn't have the courage or the confidence because I was too scared that I wasn't going to have enough, right?
But we have changed that now.
You have to change that narrative. Yeah. So it's a beautiful thing.
And also you mentioned earlier about when you didn't have a vacation for 6 years and then you went on a trip, you were kind of feeling a little bit off with that.
Yeah.
And after you have, let's say, completed 3 months of an emergency fund, this is a second trip, a second tip. I opened a different savings account, and that was my vacation savings account. So after I had put like 3% towards my emergency fund, I start putting 1% towards my vacation fund.
Yeah.
And first, let's say I will see, $20, $30, and you think, well, I'm going to Galveston, right? With that, but after a year, it builds, and you're busy in your life doing other things. When suddenly you go back.
And there
you
it is.
See, oh wow! So now you can enjoy that vacation in peace.
Yeah. 2017, I finally started saying that I was going to take one big trip a year.
Okay.
So my first big trip was South Africa, and I stayed 2 weeks, and I did a ultra marathon there, and that was the beginning. Then the next year, I ended up doing another race in Utah. So I spent a couple of weeks in Utah. And then last year, not 2020, because nobody traveled in 2020, but in 2019, right before the pandemic, I did a running adventure in Iceland.
Wow.
So it was like once a year. I was like, I knew this was important for me to do this, to go on an adventure, because I love adventures. And then COVID hit. So obviously I didn't go anywhere last year, and I haven't been anywhere this year, but I do have a trip planned to the Franklin Mountains for a race in November. And then I have, another ultra on Catalina Island off of, California. So that will be January.
You're going to love Catalina Islands.
Have you been?
Yes.
Oh, I'm excited. I mean, I've seen so many pictures. I feel like I've already been there, but, I haven't. And so I'm super excited about it. And then I've got some other ideas for next year. So hopefully.
So see how your face lights up with all these ideas.
Yeah.
This is when you know you are in your priorities are good for you. Your body language changes, and it really gets to your heart that I get to live a full life. And we don't need to have, let's say, a Rolls Royce. That's not your priority. Your priority is these amazing trips where you combine wellness and with running and resting and adventure. So that's exactly who you are. And I recommend that each one of us has really a homework out of this podcast, that you figure out, if you haven't yet, what makes you really happy, and then make sure that you take full control of baby steps, step by step, of your own money. You are worth it. You deserve it, and you need to live the best possible life that you can with what you have. You will find the peace, and you will enjoy it,
and the freedom.
I want you to be free. Remember, financial knowledge gives you freedom. So please know your numbers.
Well, Soledad, I don't think we can top the way you just ended that. So I think this is a great place to wrap it up. And you've been amazing, and I hope you come back.
Oh, thank you.
So appreciative of you. So tell people how they can find you.
Yes, well, thank you for inviting me. I have loved this, and I was all weekend looking forward to talking to you and talking to all of you about this very, very important topic. You can find me my website, www.soledadtanner.com, Tanner with double N, and you can also reach me at my mobile 832-998-2136, and you can find me in all social medias. I am in LinkedIn, Facebook Business, and Instagram. Follow me, and so you can learn more about ways that you can make your life better and gain all that financial knowledge and financial health.
I love it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, what did you think? I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Soledad had a lot to give in the conversation on money, and I really liked her definition of financial wellness. She said, "Financial wellness is having the knowledge, ability, and desire to make intelligent financial decisions, as well as having the capacity to live a happy life within one's means." I just love that. She also had 3 tips to start a financial wellness lifestyle. Number 1, create a budget. Number 2, create a plan to pay off your credit card debt, starting with the highest interest rate first. And number 3, start to build an emergency fund. That way, if you ever find yourself in a situation where you're unable to work, like a pandemic, you'll have a peace of mind that you have this emergency fund and it's there to support you while you go through difficult times. Well, I just love this conversation, and it is one that we will keep having. And as always, I would love to hear your feedback. So until next time, be inspired, wellness inspired. Thanks for listening, and see you next time. Bye.